In this video, it's time to stir up the spirits about some commonly held and categorically false beliefs that have been imposed as paradigm for the masses and are assumed to be true. In this channel, we upload all kinds of useful information related to sports betting, and sometimes we also give predictions of the biggest matches in Europe or tips for the Premier League and the Champions League. If this is interesting for you, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get notifications about every new video. Without further ado, I'll get right to the point. These are my personal top 5 betting myths that I've seen and heard most often from various people. Myth number 1. Odds don't matter, what matters is the bet is profitable. It doesn't matter what happened in the match, what matters is that the bet wins. Or a losing bet is a bad bet and a winning bet is a good bet. These are some of the biggest bollocks that a very large number of people say, and I'm convinced that these are the ones that are actually not winning. Actually, the odds matter a lot, and how the match played out matters a lot. If you want to win in the long run, odds should be the first thing you look at in a bet. You can't say to yourself, I'm sure this bet is coming out, I'm playing it, even if the odds aren't worth it and are too low, because in that case, even if you play it and win, you still win a lot less than you really should have, and by making multiple bets like that, losing a little bit of the actual profit and sometimes losing the whole bet because you are not always going to be right. You're going to be at minus overall on a larger number of bets. The idea is to catch bets that are worthwhile, not pick and choose what you like. I'll give you another example to understand me better. Sure, you might really like a t-shirt in the store and say to yourself, you'll give a 100 euro for it because it's very cool. But when you walk into the store, you find out that its price is 300 euro. Are you still buying it? Of course not. The same goes for the sports events and the betting. Your bet may have been a very bad, but it may have won on luck. This means that you need to assess where you went wrong in your judgment and not rely on luck next time. Myth number 2. In sports betting, whether you win depends only on your luck. Another version of this myth is sports betting is gambling and gambling is losing. Yes, gambling is losing. It really is basically up to your luck. Only that sports betting is far from gambling only. Sports betting is only gambling in some specifics, and the fact that in sports betting you rely only on luck is an incredible myth that again the losers propagate. It is again related to the previous myth, because when the house always has an advantage over you, of course you will always lose in the long run, and you may only be in profit at certain times because of your luck, but not in general. If, however, you have the edge over the bookie and you always play the value bets that are unrealistically high odds, then every time you win, you will actually take, in addition to your actual winnings, an additional one from the bookie's mistake, and that would be your commission for having found the mistake. Just as the bookie has a commission on every bet because of the margin it puts on. Not to mention that value bets are just one of the ways you make money in the long run. There are others, such as, for example, arbitrage or matched betting, where not only is there no loss, but the bets themselves are risk-free if done in a pattern. I could add more examples with different ways, but that is not the topic of the video. It's just that in betting, as in life, if you rely only on luck and not mainly on your skill, you can't succeed. Myth number 3. The bookmaker is always right. This is also a huge misconception that people either consciously or not accept when seeing given odds for an event. If you see a bet where, for example, home win is 1.44, draw is 4.50 and the away win is 7.50, most people would say, okay, so here the home win almost certainly wins, and then play it with big money. The fallacy that low odds mean a sure win. The truth is that odds simply reflect probability in percentage terms. 70% probability, for example, is not 100%. But here another important thing to know is that just because the bookmaker thinks that probability of the home team winning expressed in odds is 1.44, it is far from being the case. Realistically, the bigger the league and the event, the more accurate the bookmaker is. But in the lower divisions, the bookmaker have much less information, and big and even huge errors in odds are typical. So don't blindly trust only the odds. Myth number 4. The fans of the teams are good bettors. There is very gambling myth that is related to the fact that if you are a fan of a particular team and you follow every game of it, you can necessarily guess what will happen in the different games. games. Believe me, this is based on an emotion and misconception rather than fact. Besides, the sheer bias of betting on your favorite team's matches can also prove to be an unwise judgment in many cases. Being a good bettor means knowing the market, knowing the odds, knowing how bookmakers work, and most of all, having information that few people access, which has a little to do with fan bias. If you think you are actually a guru about your team, at least create a personal statistics for the whole season, all bets you've placed on your team, just to see you are wrong. Myth number 5. This match is fixed. There is no way that this is real. Let's not kid ourselves. Every single person who watches this video at least once in your life, when you lost a bet, you have thought to yourself that this game is settled. That fixed matches exist and always will is clear. It's just that just because a bet has escaped under strange conditions doesn't mean that the match has been settled. Guys, think about how many strange and unfair things happen in your lives and how almost every day you are faced with some kind of problem where you wonder how it could happen to you just right in this moment when you definitely don't need it. The truth is, this is completely normal, and as much as you don't want to, a bet can always go your way because of a huge stroke of luck or escape to you because of a huge stroke of bad luck. And whether it's fixed, it's nothing more than a speculation on your part, which in almost all cases is just a reason to justify yourself or redirect your anger towards something. Of course, there are many more myths in betting that I haven't touched on in this video, but I'd love for you to write what you think is a ridiculous myth and back it up with your arguments, or what you've believed before related to betting and convinced yourself over time that it was a mistaken belief. Share your support by hitting the like button if you like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Bye bye from me.